Which is better, the LG Stylo 6 or the Samsung Galaxy A20? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the LG Stylo 6 and the Samsung Galaxy A20. Now, the LG Stylo 6 was just launched very recently by LG. Currently, you can get the phone at Boost Mobile. It's also coming to Metro by T-Mobile very shortly, but I'm guessing that it'll make its way over to even more carriers in the future and also be offered factory unlocked. The Samsung Galaxy A20 was launched in 2019, kind of in the middle of the year, and we're definitely due for the successor to this phone to come out, which will be the Samsung Galaxy A21. But I know that the A20 has been a huge success for both Samsung and the people that have bought it, as I know that this phone really does have a strong, loyal following because it is a very good device. So I figured I'd put these two up against each other in this video. Now, once I do get the A21, I will be doing that comparison as well against the Stylo 6. So definitely a lot of great content coming up soon, so make sure to hit that sub button. Now, the LG Stylo 6 features a large 6.8-inch display compared to the Galaxy A20, which has a smaller display at 6.4 inches. Now, of course, both of the displays are large compared to other devices out there, but you can see without a doubt the Stylo 6 is definitely the taller of the two phones, but there are even more differences regarding the displays. For example, the LG Stylo 6 has a IPS LCD display compared to the Super AMOLED display with the A20. So I'm sure you can tell through the video, but the A20 has a much brighter and more vibrant display compared to the Stylo 6. Now, the Stylo 6, on the other hand, gives us 1080p resolution compared to 720p with the A20. Now, I think things do look good here with the A20, but it is definitely obvious that the Stylo 6 is 1080p. And one area where you'll especially notice the difference is when watching YouTube content, because you're limited to only 720p video with the A20, whereas of course you can play 1080p video with the Stylo 6. Now, the LG Stylo 6 features a PPI of 395. We're getting a 20.5:9 aspect ratio, which is certainly one of the reasons why this phone features such a narrow but tall form factor. And we're getting an 82.5% screen to body ratio. Now, compared to the A20, we're getting a PPI of 268, so definitely a lower PPI. We're getting a 19.5:9 aspect ratio, which is still, even on its own, a tall and narrow form factor, and we're getting an 85.0% screen to body ratio. So really the only good thing about the display here with the A20 is that it's Super AMOLED. Otherwise, the LG Stylo 6 is better because we're getting a better resolution, in my opinion, a better aspect ratio as well, and of course a better PPI. However, it's hard to look past the various benefits of AMOLED. You're getting better viewing angles, you're getting better colors, it's brighter. So I would say it really comes down to personal preference. If you don't mind having a lower resolution and a smaller display, then the A20 does have the better display of the two. But if you are one of those people that truly wants a phone with a massive display, then the Stylo 6 is probably a better choice. Now, you can see up top here on both phones, they do both feature a water drop for the notch. However, the notch with the Stylo 6 is certainly a bit larger. It's a little more streamlined here with the A20. Now, the front-facing camera for the LG Stylo 6 is 13 megapixels, compared to 8 megapixels with the Galaxy A20. Definitely check out my individual reviews for these two phones to see photo and video samples from them. But in my opinion, they both take about an equal quality of photos and videos. It's not like one is dramatically better than the other, but we'll get more into the various camera features later in this comparison. Now, with the LG Stylo 6, we're getting 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and we also have microSD card expansion, whereas with the Galaxy A20, we're getting half the amount of internal storage at 32 gigs, but we are also getting microSD card expansion. So it is cool to see that we're getting twice the amount of internal storage with the LG Stylo 6. And nowadays, that's more important than ever, as apps get larger and larger, and same thing with video files. Now, neither of these two devices feature wireless charging. They do both, however, have fingerprint sensors on the back, so we'll give that a try right now, starting off with the LG Stylo 6. So pretty quick there. Now we'll try it out with the Galaxy A20. and that's very fast as well. In fact, probably a little bit faster with the A20. Now with the LG Stylo 6, there is no face unlock, but with the Galaxy A20, we do get face unlock. So if you are looking for a phone with face unlock, then the A20 is probably the choice for you. Now taking a look at the back of the two devices, we have quite a few cameras here. So with the LG Stylo 6, we have a triple camera setup. So we have a 13 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera. And with the Samsung Galaxy A20, it looks like we have less abilities here, but in fact we have a 13 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel secondary camera, but that camera doubles as both an ultra-wide camera and a depth sensing camera. So even though we have 3 cameras with the LG Stylo 6, the Galaxy A20 can achieve the same exact results with just 2 cameras. Now, in case you're curious about how the various camera abilities compare, you can see here's how things look with the front-facing camera. And by the way, I'm using the Samsung Galaxy A51 to record this video without even an external microphone. So let me know what you think of the quality from that. But one of the cool things about the A20 is that there's actually an option for an even wider field of view with the front-facing camera. It's not a huge difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference. And definitely when you're trying to take a group selfie, that does come in handy. Now flipping over to the cameras on the rear, you can see here's how things look with the standard camera. So it looks like you can fit pretty much the same amount of content into the frame here. And then now we'll switch to the ultra-wide cameras, and you can see they're both very wide. In fact, it looks like the camera with the A20 is a little bit wider because it can fit a little bit more content into the frame than the LG Stylo 6. But still, regardless, I'm glad to see that we finally have a Stylo phone that features an ultra-wide angle camera. Now with both devices, we're getting 3 gigabytes of RAM, but we are getting different processors. So with the LG Stylo 6, we're getting the MediaTek Helio P35. And with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we're getting the Samsung Exynos 7884. So I did run benchmark tests with both phones here, and you can compare those results on your own. Let me pull up the test. And you can see with the LG Stylo 6, we got an overall score of 105,537. Compared to a score of 119,222 with the Galaxy A20. So based on this benchmark test, the A20 is more powerful compared to the Stylo 6. Now it's not a huge difference here, that's for sure, but it is a little bit of a difference. Now with both devices, video recording maxes out at 1080p, so keep that in mind. And both phones feature beefy 4,000 mAh internal batteries. Now with the LG Stylo 6, we have Android 10 with LG's skin laid over the top. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the software experience with the Stylo 6. Definitely nice that we are getting Android 10. And with my Galaxy A20 at least, the phone is still stuck on Android 9 Pie. Now I know that Samsung promised an update to Android 10 in May of 2020, but we're getting closer and closer to the end of May and still no update in sight. So hopefully we get the update soon. I'm definitely looking forward to that as we'll get One UI 2.0, but I know that it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Now, both devices feature NFC, which is really awesome. Now, for the A20 though, not every variant of the phone has NFC. This variant does because this is the Metro by T-Mobile variant, but also the US unlocked variant has NFC as well. I'm not sure about the international variant of the phone. So the point is that if you are buying a Galaxy A20, and you want NFC, then you should definitely double check that the phone has it prior to placing your order. But I just wanted to point that out there, and I know that for some people, NFC is definitely a make or break. Now, taking a closer look at the hardware here, I've already mentioned how these two devices are really very large. In fact, both of these phones are larger than the iPhone 11, for example. But taking a closer look at the hardware here, I already talked about the top of the two devices where we're getting kind of a larger water drop notch with the LG Stylo 6. Now at the bottom of the two phones, they both feature an equally large bezel, but it seems like in general, the bezels are just a little bit thicker with the Stylo 6. The Stylo 6 is also a bit boxier, but I personally like that. Now taking a look at the left side of the two devices, with the LG Stylo 6, we have a metallic band running around the sides of the phone with the volume up, volume down, we have the Google Assistant button, and we have the SIM card slot and microSD card slot. And with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we just have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card, and we have a plastic band running around the side of the phone. Then on the right side of the two devices, with the LG Stylo 6, we just have the power button, and with the Samsung Galaxy A20, with the power button and volume button. Then on the top of the two phones, they both have the noise canceling microphone, and then on the bottom, They both have the 3.5mm headphone jack. They both have a microphone. They both have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer. They both have the speaker. And then with the LG Stylo 6, we're getting the stylus. Now, of course, that is the signature feature with the phone. That is why it's called a stylo. But with the stylus this year, we're getting some cool new features, such as the ability to pop it in and pop it out, to remove it and put it back into the phone. So that's really cool. It's pretty fancy. Kind of reminds me of the various Galaxy Note phones. Basically, if you want a stylus, obviously out of these two phones, this is the only device that actually has one. So it just depends on if you feel that the stylus is important. Now, with the device, you can use the stylus for a variety of different things. Of course, you can use it to just navigate around the phone, which is probably the way that many people will use it. Of course, if you are into drawing or maybe you want to learn how to draw, you can not only use the various pre-installed note-taking and drawing apps on the Stylo 6, but the Google Play Store is full of all kinds of different animation apps and different artist drawing apps. So definitely once you get the Stylo 6, I recommend that you go explore and see what your various options are so that you can make the most of the stylus. But for comparison's sake, I don't really have much else to say about the stylus since we are not getting one with the A20. Now, there's definitely a good chunk of people out there who will buy the Stylo 6 and use the stylus like 1 or 2 times and then never pick it up again. So if you're one of those people, then maybe the stylus isn't quite as much of a selling point, and maybe the Galaxy A20 is still a decent choice for you. It just depends on your personal preference, and definitely if you're one of those people that's maybe considering at some point in the future getting a Galaxy Note phone, but you're kind of turned away by how expensive it is, then getting a phone like the LG Stylo 6 with a built-in stylus could be a nice little step for you to get a good idea of if you even care about that feature or not. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two devices. Now, I did already clear out the recent apps, so there's nothing currently running in the background. But let's first start by pulling up the camera app on both phones. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was a little bit faster with the Galaxy A20. Let's now go to Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it's about a tie with the two phones. Now you can see at this angle, this is another example of why AMOLED is better. You can see how much darker the LG Stylo 6 is compared to the Galaxy A20. And that's due to the display in general not being as bright, but also the display not having as good of viewing angles. So I'm really looking forward to the day that LG finally gives AMOLED displays, or at least OLED displays, to their budget phones. That will definitely be a step in the right direction. But let's now go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was faster here with the Galaxy A20. Let's go to engadget.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like in this test, the LG Stylo 6 was a little bit quicker here, but it looks like the A20 caught up and was first to load the video. So, oh yeah, and the ad pulled up first on the A20. So I would definitely give this speed test to the Galaxy A20. Now scrolling is decently smooth with both devices, not really too concerned about that. Let's now go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was probably about a tie with the two phones. Looks like the ad popped up first with the A20, so maybe the A20 by a little bit being faster, but overall not a huge difference between these two devices. But I hope you've enjoyed this comparison video between the LG Stylo 6 and Samsung Galaxy A20. I'm really curious to know what you think about these two devices and which one you think is a better choice in 2020. Now, I know that the Galaxy A20 is getting towards the end of its product life in the sense that it probably won't be carried too much at carrier stores beyond maybe the middle to end of this summer. I know that the Galaxy A20 first made its way over to Metro by T-Mobile, for example, in August of 2020. That's when I first bought the phone. So yes, we do have the A21 coming out soon, but as far as it making its way over to carriers, I don't see that happening until probably the early fall, or like I said, roughly around August of 2020. But once that happens, I do anticipate the A21 on being a very popular phone, kind of building on the successes of the A20. But for now, comparing the A20 to the Stylo 6 is still a very close comparison. There are, of course, pros and cons with both of these phones, but I would say the biggest benefits with the Stylo 6 is that you're getting a larger display, you're getting 1080p, you're getting a stylus, and you're getting twice the amount of storage. But with the Galaxy A20, the benefits with this phone is that you're getting a brighter and clearer display, you're getting a slightly more powerful processor, you're getting face unlock, and that's about it. Those are really the main benefits with the phone. But definitely take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for these two phones. I'm sure as time goes on, they will go down in price. Of course, check out these phones at their various carriers as well, because you can probably snag a really good deal on either of the two phones. But if you do want to buy them factory unlocked, then I will have links for those in the description as well. But at the time of me recording this video, you can't get the Stylo 6 unlocked yet. But as soon as that is available, I will update the link to it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. This is Kevin here. This is the LG Stylo 6 versus the Samsung Galaxy A20. And I will see you in the next video.